Hello, everyone. I'm here to do the King of Horror Stephen King book tag. I was tagged by my very good friend, Bad is Rad. Bad is Rad 2. And there's a lot of questions in this, so I'm gonna try not to ramble too long. I feel like a lot of these kind of overlap where I could say several things twice, so I'm trying to spread them. Spread them. Alright, so I've got Bad's video pulled up with the questions. Okay. Number 1, how did you get into reading Stephen King? So, I just started realizing that my reading tastes were really craving more towards horror and getting away kind of from fantasy. Like, I've always been a fan of horror. I was just consuming it like in movies only, and for a really long time I pretty much exclusively read fantasy and a little bit of sci-fi, and then I was like, why am I not reading horror books? And I was like, well, the most popular horror writer is Stephen King, and so I decided to pick up Carrie, and I love Carrie, and I have no regrets starting with Carrie. Okay, what was the first Stephen King book you read? Okay, this is a pretty funny story. The first book I read was Cycle of the Werewolf in elementary school, actually. My friend had it because her parents were huge Stephen King fans, and um like my mom freaking hates horror and anything dark. And I'd go over, and my friend's mom wasn't working currently, so she would watch me like 3 days a week. And my mom always worked, so she would just pay her, and like we would read Cycle of the Werewolf. And yeah, it scared the poop out of me. And then I didn't read another Stephen King book until I was 25. Okay, 3. Have you read a Stephen King book published the year you were born? No. And that pissed me off a long time ago when I tried to do Criminality's book year tag, because I thought surely there must be a Stephen King book that was published the year I was born that I've read when I was trying to look up books that I've read. But I was born in 93, okay? And he didn't publish a book that year. I've read Gerald's Game, and I've read Dolores Claiborne. Those both came out in 92. And Insomnia came out in 94, but I have not read Insomnia, so poop on that. Okay, question 4. Which of his books do you prefer to collect? Hardcover editions, paperbacks, or does it matter to you? So it really depends. I'll kind of show you, actually. Let me get some books real quick. So these 3, Dolores Claiborne, Gerald's Game, and Misery, I really like these 3 in hardcover, I found these all while thrifting, and I really like them, you know? The dust jackets were missing, and I don't even care. I think they look beautiful like this. If we're talking like It and The Stand, those are huge books. I would not want to read those in hardcover. No way, Jose. Definitely paperback on those. And I have a couple that were just used books. I don't really care. Yeah. So, yeah, depends. Okay, what a question was. Okay. Number 5. How many of his books are on your bookshelf? Okay, I definitely counted. I have 10 books on my shelves and 4 in my Audible library, so 14 total. I keep losing my place. Oh, 6. Stephen King is known for long and gory novels. Which of his novels was tough for you to read? The only one that I can say is Salem's Lot, and that's not because it was gory, it's because I thought it was so freaking boring. I hated that book. I gave it 1 star. I know it's people like it more than that. I just freaking hated it, but I still want to watch the adaptations because it's happened before for me where I like his adaptations better. So, we'll shh about that for now though. Okay, 7. Have you DNF'd a Stephen King book? Okay, I would say no, but some people may say yes. Technically, I started it at the beginning of the year and I stopped. But, okay, I went through a very bad breakup. I just couldn't do a really long book. I'm saying I'm on a very long leave of absence from that book. I know I'm gonna come back to it someday. I don't consider it a DNF. Okay? Okay. 8. Have you read his books in publication order? Nope, I read them in interest order. 9. What King books would you like to read but haven't yet? The ones that come to mind are It, The Stand, and The Green Mile. I really want to read all of those ones. 10. Name a book he has written that other people like, but you don't. Okay. Here's where people are gonna get mad at me. Pet Sematary. Okay, I didn't dislike it. I was just disappointed in it. I gave it 3 stars. But I was going into it expecting a 5-star book. And I've never unhauled it or anything because I feel like I want to reread it again someday. I don't understand why it wasn't 5 stars for me, but I'm gonna get into that later. 11. Name a book of his you think is underrated. Okay, I have 3. Number 1, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. That is my favorite Stephen King book. I think it is massively underrated. Massively. The horror is very small in it, so maybe that's why it's so underrated. But it is a great book. If you have not read The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, please read it. And apparently it's getting an adaptation soon, so um The Eyes of the Dragon. That is a great book. If you like fantasy and you like Stephen King and you have not read The Eyes of the Dragon, do yourself a favor and read that book. And it is Stephen King, so there is some messed up stuff. I'm so proud of myself for how little I've cussed in this video. And also, Gerald's Game. Gerald's Game is. Okay, I have 3 favorite Stephen King books. But another favorite, I feel like everybody who does read it does love it, but not enough people read it. So if you haven't, then read it. Yeah. Those are I had to pick 3 that I think are underrated. And I feel like the adaptation of Gerald's Game is good, but the book is better. Okay, 12. Creepy characters. Which Stephen King characters would you like to have dinner with? Okay, so I'm gonna cheat on this question and I'm gonna say I wish I could be a kid again and have like an outdoor picnic and adventure with the kids from it, like before it gets creepy, just because I want to be a kid again. Because it's been a while since I've just felt carefree and yeah, I will skip out on that orgy part, but yeah, I can cheat if I want to. 13. Has Stephen King inspired you to start reading and writing? Well, he got me into reading horror, so that was a stepping stone. I've read so much horror since then. Has he inspired me to write? No. I would have a completely different writing style than him. I very much admire how much work he puts out, though. Like, it is incredible. So go him. There is an interview of him and George R. R. Martin talking. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It's so funny. Like, Stephen King asks George R. R. Martin if he has any questions for him, and George R. R. Martin is just like, okay, now I am gonna cuss because I'm quoting. He's like, how the fuck do you write so many books so fast? It's funny. Yeah, you should look it up. I mean, I just gave away the funny part, but it's funnier if you watch it because I'm not that funny. Okay, if you were able to meet Stephen King, what would you say? I would just say, hey man, you write some cool books. Keep on doing it. I don't know what I'd say. Can I have your autograph? What would you say? I don't remember what Bad answered. But yeah, I'd probably ask for his autograph. 15. Have you ever been to Bangor, Maine? I have not, but my friend moved to Maine for a while to live with her boyfriend, and she went to Stephen King's house, and I was jealous. Oh, before I do this next question, by the way, apparently, going back to that underrated question where I said, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon is apparently getting a film adaptation. apparently The Eyes of the Dragon is getting an adaptation too, so you can hop on both of those and be ahead of the game, and you can be like, I read the books. Be a little pretentious, you know? Okay, 16. Which do you prefer more, his books or his movies? I don't think I could really pick, because it's some I like the books more, um, and some I like the movies more. Um, but I will say the movies that I like more, now here's where I get to say this: Pet Sematary. I love the original film adaptation of Pet Sematary. And the book, like, it's such a faithful adaptation. Like, it's a 5-star film to me, so I thought it was gonna be a 5-star book, so I don't understand why I don't like the book more. Like, why I didn't enjoy it more. And, I do enjoy the movie more for Misery. I enjoyed Misery as a book better than I enjoyed Pet Sematary, but I do feel like there was a dry spell in Misery where I was like, and the movie is just 5 stars, definitely. Okay, name your favorite Stephen King movies. Okay, the It adaptations. Okay, I love those. Tim Curry. Tim Curry is fun. The newer ones, I love It Chapter 1. I liked Chapter 2, but I felt like Chapter 1 was far better. Like it just was to me, okay. So yeah, I still love it, and you know what? If you tell me I'm not a real fan because I haven't read the books, then fuck you. Oh, see? It happened. That is called gatekeeping though, and you're just being a butt. Let's see. Well, yeah, and then I love Pet Sematary as a movie. I love Carrie. Dolores Claiborne. If you've only read the book, the movie is way different. I like the book, but I love the movie. You know what? Atmospherically, I love. Ooh, I hate when my lighting does that. Atmospherically, I love The Shining, but I do have to say that after I read the book, like I was like, oh my god, I can so see why Stephen King hates The Shining, the movie. And it's so like the book is so much more emotional, and like yeah, the movie does not perform well. And just like hearing how horrible Shelley Duvall was treated is like, whoa, this poor woman. But yeah, I feel like it's like the atmosphere is nice, but yeah, the book is better. And I think that's everything except to tag people. I mean, I feel like I'm always the last to be tagged, but just in case, I'll tag you. If you haven't done it, I can't think of anyone who wouldn't be tagged by now. So, if you want to do this and you haven't, you are tagged. Okay. Thank you for listening to me rant and ramble during those last 5 minutes. I love you. Alright, now I'm just being stupid. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.